Hey y'all, happy Saturday, happy weekend. This is a follow-up video to my video that I made about when you feel the urge to leave a certain situation, relationship, whatever it might be, which I said for me it was a this urgency that I felt within, that I felt was from God. That's my belief. Not everyone is a believer in God. I am driving, so that's why I'm not really looking at the camera. I have a holder on my dashboard, but for some reason the mirror, the rearview mirror, is getting in the way. So anywho, that's why I'm recording like this. So someone asked me in the comments, you know, how did I know it was God? I'm glad you asked that question. That is a great question, which I didn't have to answer, but hey. God knows his kids. Just like if you're a parent, you know your kids. Even if you're not a parent, you might be a guardian of someone. You know that every person is different, and they respond differently to the way you discipline. You have to discipline people differently or approach people differently. For me, I can be a little hard-headed. From when I was in situations that were not healthy for me, this goes for work and relationships. It's not just about relationships. I literally had to have concrete evidence on why I should leave that particular relationship, right? And so that's just the way that things have operated for me. I never went really on how I felt about a situation, whether I didn't like how I was feeling at the time, or how that person made me feel, how those people made me feel, how that company made me feel. It was just always something tangible that I needed to see before I left. So I'm just giving y'all a backstory on how God knows he had to handle his child and answer questions for me, right? For me. So I was wondering at the last house that I was renting, because I sold my house last year. I was a homeowner for like 12 years. And, you know, because of the current market, I was able to sell and get a pretty decent profit off of it. I was strategic with it. I waited, was patient, did the numbers, and I was like, okay, it's time to leave. So I do not like the way that apartments are built. I used to say I didn't like apartments, but I realized that's not the case. I like apartments, especially those that are like the luxury apartments that have all of the amenities there. I like apartments. And if they were built to me, to the specification that's required for hotels, I would go. Meaning, when you at a hotel, other than a door closing, you barely hear the people at a well-built hotel, right? So I feel like if they made apartments that way, I would actually move there. And if they were cheaper than the homes. So they were not cheaper than the homes. They were actually about the same price. I don't know if anyone knows, which I know is an issue around the entire country, which I believe around the entire world, but specifically speaking into the United States, that in Florida, the inflation is crazy. I was paying $893 for a mortgage. This included the mortgage payment, which is $623 and change, my insurance, and my what they call it, the insurance and tax, right? $893 is what that included. I literally pay 3 times that amount now. I pay about $2,500 a month when you include the rent and the utilities. So I said, if I'm going to pay $2,500, I'd rather be somewhere where I don't have to worry about noise on top of me. That's my main thing. I really like quiet places when I'm going to stay there, right? I want to be able to be comfortable and be able to sleep and work, because I work from home now. I am an entrepreneur, and I have a different schedule than your average person. So I decided to rent a house. So anywho, I rented this house. And I'm almost at the end of the lease at the time, right? My lease ended August 8th. I stayed there a little bit longer. I stayed there until like August 20th because I needed a little bit more time to stay. So there were two things that happened which answered my question to God on should I stay and renew the lease another year, or should I leave? So the third thing that happened to me is that a snake, yes y'all, a snake came through a closed sliding glass door. I want to stress that. It was closed. There was no cracks. This house is brand new. Me and my daughter were the only ones that lived in this property. And so we other than when Hurricane Ivan came and we had to go and put shutters on the windows, that's the only time that we really went outside. So even the plastic is still on the handle on that sliding glass door. When that snake came through, thankfully I had some tape on the floor. It's weird. I was keeping tape on the floor to catch the lizards that were coming through. I know it's weird, but that was my way of kind of catching the freaking lizards. And thankfully I had the tape on the floor and it caught the snake. And so when that snake came through, I was like, God, really? You had to be that, I don't know, that blatant, that, I don't know, to make things obvious. I don't even know how to articulate it, but I was like, wow. Me and my daughter laughed at it because I was like, I know I'm not that bad. He's like, nah, Rena, you know how you are. You need to have concrete evidence that I'm answering your prayers. So I said, all right, Lord. So keep in mind, that was Memorial Day of this year. So I don't know if that was on the 31st of May or on the 30th of May. But honey, I didn't need to have anything else answered other than what had happened. So that is the reason why I left, is when that snake came through. And it was still in my spirit that it was time to go. It was just in my spirit. Just like with certain jobs that I've been to, certain relationships, it feels like you have outgrown